Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Jack Mitchell and welcome to Entrepreneur's Corner. This is sponsored by TCoast Studios and DiscountDirectory.net. We have a real exciting show today on our Entrepreneur's Corner. I have 3 entrepreneurs that I'm going to be interviewing, and each one has a little different background. And so one is a serial entrepreneur, another is an entrepreneur who has a corporate background and then became an entrepreneur, and then I have someone who's married to an entrepreneur. So we really have kind of an exciting show today, and I have 3 guests. And the first guest that I want to introduce to you is a wonderful lady. Her name is Cheryl Handy, as in the hand, and she's absolutely lovely. And Cheryl, welcome to Entrepreneur's Corner.
Thank you, Dr. Jack.
Okay, wonderful. I wanted to share with the audience, Cheryl, a little bit of your history. Now, Cheryl is our entrepreneur who has a corporate background. You actually were in business. What kind of business were you in?
I was in the rehab business, pediatric rehab business,
Okay.
where I provided occupational, physical, and speech therapy to children. And I actually worked for different organizations, the school board, private companies.
All located here on the Treasure Coast?
Yes, I'm born and raised here. Left for a couple of years, decided to come back because I love Fort Pierce.
You love...
I love Fort Pierce.
Yeah, it's much to love in Fort Pierce.
Yes, there
That's
is.
wonderful. How long were you in corporate life, Cheryl?
Well, I actually just started my own business 22 years ago. Started work at age 17. I won't say how old I am now,
That's right.
but for a while.
You look wonderful for 97.
Why, thank you, Dr.
You look
Jack.
wonderful. So you were in corporate life for 22 years? Is that what you said? Okay.
Yes.
And then when did you start to become or think about becoming an entrepreneur, having your own business and stepping out?
Well, I believe in giving credit where it's due. My dad was one of the first African-American men to have his own business, which was a tile and terrazzo business. It was Matthews Tile and Terrazzo. And I would always go home and tell him, you know what, Dad, this happened at work, and I had a great time, and I got this award at work. And he would tell me, you know what, baby, that's great. But do you realize that someone can also work for you? So I got to give Pops his dues. He planted the seed because, again, he was a business and an entrepreneur himself. And he let me know that I could also have someone work for me and do a fantastic job like I was doing for others.
Good for you. And when did you start actually doing something concrete in terms of developing a thought or a concept about an entrepreneurial business for yourself?
It's always been there. As I said, it was planted in my mind by my dad. But about 23 years ago, I keep saying 22, but time is passing. About 23 years ago, I decided that I wanted to step out on my own and provide a service and be able to be a little more creative in how the service was provided. And when you're working for someone else, that's stifled to a degree because you have to follow their policy procedures and exactly.
Okay, and so 23 years ago, what did you do?
I stepped out and I started my own little pediatric rehab business.
A pediatric rehab business, okay. And tell us how that developed over the past 23 years.
Well, I'm an occupational therapist by profession, and I've been doing that for over 25 years and working for other people. And about 23 years ago, I decided that I wanted to step out on my own and just see what I could do with the skills that I have and the mindset that I have and be a little more creative. So what I did is I left a pretty secure job with the school system and just struck out on my own, made the right connections, did the right networking prior to stepping out, and just stepped out on faith.
What would you say, we're talking to an audience that perhaps has an interest in entrepreneurship. What would you say was perhaps the most difficult, the most challenging part of stepping out from a secure position like you had to an entrepreneurial business on your own? What's the most challenging?
I would say, as I said previously, stepping out on faith. You have to overcome those fears.
Okay.
And I started looking at it as if, what is the worst thing that will happen? It won't work, and then I'll have to go back and work for someone else. I've been doing it all these years, and it's worked well. It worked well for me. So just kind of stepping out, eliminating all the unnecessary, extreme fears that you have, and just stepping out and trying it and doing it.
Is there any kind of So you say stepping out and just doing it. Is there any kind of other type of advice that you could give our audience? Stepping out, did you plan on certain financial support that you had to have? Did you say, okay, I have to make so much money a month, and did you work out a business plan or anything like that?
You know what, Dr. Jack, I did one of the things that people tell you not to do. When I say I stepped out on faith, I stepped out on faith. I didn't have a plan other than I believed in me, and I knew I could make it work. And that was pretty much the plan. As far as going, and I find that if I would have tried to do a drawn-out business plan, I may never have stepped out.
Yep. Sometimes you can get so caught up in the weeds that you never get around to doing it.
Exactly.
And tell the folks, because we only have another minute or two, what you presently have. It's fabulous. 23 years later, just tell the folks what you have and how to get in touch with you.
I started out with a pediatric rehab company, which I still have, and that is the foundation of power parenting through play. But I wanted to expand it, and I wanted to include the family in this rehab company.
Yep.
So oftentimes, rehab companies, you see the child, you send them home. I want to nurture the family. We have a sensory gym that accommodates all children, not just children.
A sensory gym. Mm-hmm. That means they can touch things and feel things and that type.
They can touch things, feel things. It can be made to accommodate children with special needs, special environmental stimulus that is relaxing or arousing, whatever that child's sensory needs may be.
That's fabulous.
But it's also an awesome place to have birthday parties because, again, it accommodates all.
Okay. I've seen your gym online. It looks so exciting. I know that you've had wonderful birthday parties there for kids.
Yes.
If that's of interest to any of you, please go to TCoastStudios.com and you will actually see Cheryl right there and get an idea as to this wonderful lady, and hopefully be able to take your kids there to Cheryl's place in Fort Pierce, the place she loves. Cheryl, thank you so much for being our guest on Entrepreneur's Corner.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Jack.
It's a pleasure.
Are you looking for more customers? We've developed a highly effective state-of-the-art online local directory to promote discounts and deals from local business owners. Introduce yourself and share a special incentive for local residents on discountdirectory.net. Support local, save local. discountdirectory.net.
We're back again with another very interesting friend of mine who is also an entrepreneur, joining us here on Entrepreneur's Corner. This gentleman's name is Clyde King, and Clyde and I have known each other for a number of years, and I have nothing but the highest respect for Clyde. Clyde brings to us, and on our show today, a very kind of wonderful background, because Clyde is a businessman, and he's involved in the traditional business. It's ATP. Clyde, say hello and tell the folks what ATP stands for.
All right. ATP stands for American Total Protection. We're a security company offering security systems for both your home and your business.
How can folks out there get in touch with you if you really want a terrific security system? My friend Clyde is a guy to touch base with.
Yeah, just simply text me at 772-342-7908 and put the word security there.
Okay, so that's Clyde's normal job, like many folks, having a regular kind of 9-to-5 type of job. But the thing why Clyde is with us today, and he's also on our discountdirectory.net, is because he's also an entrepreneur. Not only is Clyde an entrepreneur, he works with an entrepreneur, Barry Abraham, and also one of the things that's wonderful about Clyde, he's married to an amazingly wonderful woman. Her name's Beverly, and she's an entrepreneur. So the man is an entrepreneur, works with an entrepreneur, is married to an entrepreneur. So you really know about entrepreneurship. Clyde, tell the folks a little bit about what you and Barry do as entrepreneurs. And then we'll get into life with Beverly as being married to an entrepreneur.
Okay, great. Well, with Barry and myself, we involve web exposure. We have websites that we design. They're very professionally mobile friendly websites. We host them. We create the content for you each month. We do Facebook posting,
Yep.
Twitter posting, LinkedIn posting, email marketing blast. We do YouTube ad views.
Okay, from an entrepreneur's position, what are some of the challenges, what are some of the benefits personally that you've experienced as an entrepreneur working with another entrepreneur, so the two of you kind of have a partnership there?
Well,
What are the pluses and minuses, Clyde, that you can share with the audience? Because some of the folks on our audience may be thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, so share with them your own personal experience.
Well, a lot of benefits in terms of the flexibility that you have to be able to help people.
Good point.
Some of the disadvantages, you're the one that's going to do it or not do it.
Yeah.
So, you're in control of your time and your efforts, your energies. We're excited because we're able to help people in so many ways and at the same time save them a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that's the exciting part for us.
Tell us about being married to an entrepreneur, and tell us a little about Bev, what she does, and then what are the pros and cons of being married to someone who's an entrepreneur as well.
Well, it's certainly exciting. Again, many pluses, and there are some negatives too, because you're responsible for everything. But it's really great though. We have an in-home daycare. She watches infants to 2-year-olds. God bless her, right?
Mm-hmm. God bless her.
But she is excellent at it. She has been rated #1 by the parents in Port St. Lucie, and just does a tremendous job, really caring person, and the help that she has in the daycare helping her also.
Now, does she have staff?
Yes.
She has staff. So she's an entrepreneur who has a team of support people working with her.
Correct.
Okay. And how did she become an entrepreneur, and what led her to that particular role?
Well, it happened about 17 years ago, and so she's been doing it for quite a while. I'm trying to ease her out would be the, that's not that easy to do, because she really does have her heart in it. She enjoys all these babies, and we've had influence on so many lives. I mean, we actually have a girl helping us now in the daycare that was in the daycare as an infant.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing to see how things go over the course of time.
Exactly. What tips could you give to the audience about becoming an entrepreneur or living with an entrepreneur?
Well, I would encourage it. If you have it in your heart, to do something, get with people that are maybe doing that business already, get input from them. I know my wife has helped many ladies or people that wanted to get in the daycare business and kind of give them an overview of what to expect. And I will say that if their heart is not in it, that's certainly not the business to be in.
That's right.
So you need the same thing with other businesses.
So find something that your heart is in. In other words, the first step, if you want to become an entrepreneur, find something that you love to do. And it really becomes easy if you're passionate about that and you love it. If it's just to make money, you're perhaps not going to be that successful.
And it really is not like work. It's even though we probably work harder than anybody else, it's really, we don't see it as work. It is fun and enjoyable. Yes, it has challenges, but it is fun and something that we enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. From a financial point of view, how much stress is there to make sure that you're making the numbers, because she has to pay staff and all that type of thing? Is that a constant pressure, or is it just part of the business?
We've been very blessed in there. We have great parents. She interviews the parents, before we bring a new child on. So, we have doctors as parents, lawyers, firefighters, policemen, people that do have a solid career, because it does, it's expensive to have the right child care.
Okay. I want to thank Clyde for coming, and you truly a man, a renaissance man, working for a major company like ATP, but then having the enthusiasm and the energy to go and to work with Barry and doing the marketing that you do with him, and then sharing a life with Bev as a true entrepreneur and so forth. So thank you very much for sharing your time and your insights with our audience, Clyde. It's been a pleasure.
You're certainly welcome.
Thank you, my
It's been
friend.
my pleasure too. Thank you.
Are you looking for more customers? We've developed a highly effective state-of-the-art online local directory to promote discounts and deals from local business owners. Introduce yourself and share a special incentive for local residents on discountdirectory.net. Support local, save local. discountdirectory.net.
Welcome back to Entrepreneur's Corner. And I have with me now as a guest, and I'm really excited to share with you, our audience, a gentleman who is truly an entrepreneur. This gentleman is what I call a serial entrepreneur. It's in his DNA, I think. I want to introduce you to a real terrific gentleman and a real success story. Meet my friend Jerome Rhyant. Jerome, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you started this whole entrepreneurial experience of yours.
Well, thank you all. Thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of the show. I'm Jerome Rhyant. I started out in business at a very young age. My father was an entrepreneur and gave me a lot of different exposures. And 10, 12 years old, I was out selling cosmetics 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
I was the biggest of 4 brothers, and my dad needed someone to carry the 40-pound suitcase around full of cosmetics. And so I was his do boy, and I carried the big suitcase around at night. And of course, I ended up knocking on doors. Hello, this is the liniment man. He sold liniments and different products. And so that became my entry-level experience into becoming an entrepreneur.
Did you do that through high school, Jerome?
Yes, I did. We had multiple exposures to different things, and my dad was in marketing. When the elections was rendered, he would have us out knocking on doors, passing out pamphlets. At the end of the day, I became that door-to-door salesman because all of my 18 years of growing up represent the sum total of all the exposures I had from 6, 7, 8 years old knocking on doors. We were in the lawn service. I was the youngest in the lawn service. So I
What was your first, you worked with your dad. Mm-hmm. What was your first entrepreneurial venture?
My first venture started out around 13, 14 when I had a lawnmower that was given to me by my dad. And I would go knock on doors. And I understood at the end of the day, if I cut somebody's yard, I was supposed to get paid. And I wanted to see if it would work. So B. Williams is a lady living in Fort Pierce today. She's in her 80s, but she was my first client. And so after I finished high school, I set out a year before I went to college, and I started an automotive business, painting and fixing cars, and painting auto bodies the area. And I started at 18.
Wow. And you've continued up to today.
I quit college after my first year. I was on a football scholarship. I came back to St. Louis County, and Sears and Roebuck started a home improvement business called Bear Construction.
Okay.
And they started remodeling houses, painting houses, and my background was painting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came on as a subcontractor for 1 year, painting houses. And after subbing from them, I saved my money that entire year and went in business the following year, 2021.
You shared with me the other day a concept that I think is really valuable for people. And we talked about how we were talking about debt, mm-hmm. and how some debt can actually be bad, but some debt can actually be positive. Can you explain to the folks briefly what you meant by that?
I use a mechanism, a concept, where I had gone through hardship about 4 years ago and had a lot of assets, a lot of equity, but no cash on hand.
Yep.
And had some financial issues with credit. And so I needed to grow my business, and I needed immediate equipment. Mm-hmm. So what I did, the first of every month, I had a mortgage payment, and I went and bought equipment with that mortgage payment. And on the 15th of the month, I paid the late charges of $23. Mm-hmm. And I did it every month for 1 year, and I bought all new equipment. Then I took my car payment on the 15th, it was due on the 15th, because I'd always stagger my payments.
Yep.
And I would pay that at the end of the month. I would never go beyond 15 days. Then I pay the late charges, and I'd buy new pieces of equipment with that. And I grew that business 100% the first year, and I grew almost 200% each year for 4 years.
And so what you did was you actually used debt that cost you X percent to make money that was far more than the debt that you incurred.
Right. We have to realize that we can do more with what we already have in our hands. Pressure sometimes forces you to do one or two things.
Yep.
Fall out or come up with some of your greatest ideas.
Yep.
And I've come up with my greatest ideas while being under pressure.
Yeah. You know, I was just, as you were just talking, I was just thinking, I've been a millionaire at least twice. And I'm looking forward to another time. So, you know, that's part of the role of being an entrepreneur. You know, that we have I'm sure you've been a very wealthy man more than once.
I've made a lot of money over the years, and I've had a great time doing it. The whole experience of being an entrepreneur is far greater than not trying it. It's not about just the money. It's the experience that you're in and the outcomes that manifests in your life represent a sum total of somebody that become a great person at what you do. And so I have had a rich life because of the many exposures I've had by being on the front line and having to make those decisions. And if I didn't make it happen, there would be no check in the mail on Friday.
Yeah. What's your passion? What drives you? I mean, because
Vision.
Vision.
I've never done a business that I didn't enjoy doing since I was 18 years old. If I didn't like it, I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's been a theme we've heard today. You know, that really loving what you're doing and having a passion about it, and that vision that you say, and don't do things just for the money.
It's a job 9 to 5. After 5 o'clock, it becomes a hobby.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed all the businesses I've been in.
Yeah.
Even when they didn't make money, the joy of trying to make it work, if it didn't work, was a great experience because I came out of it richer than I went in.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you really heard what Jerome was saying. This is truly an amazing man and a real entrepreneur. So you can find Jerome also on DiscountDirectory.net. His profile is there. He has a wonderful video interview that he tells a little bit about his story and so forth. And his business. The name of your business today is what, Jerome?
Tree Trimmers USA.
Tree Trimmers USA. And if you're looking for that kind of a service, there's no one better in the Treasure Coast than my friend Jerome. So Tree Trimmers USA, Jerome Rhyant. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.